Yves Desbazaielle, you are the Director General of FORATOM. Today we had a presentation on the economic contribution of nuclear to the EU. Can you summarise what the benefits are to the European economy?
There are basically many. So first of all, what everybody should be aware of is that currently nuclear sector is the biggest one producing low carbon energy among all the energy sources in Europe. With total impact on GDP of more than 500 billion euros, half a trillion, 3.3% of the EU economy in terms of GDP, which is the second largest sector currently, just after construction one, and something which is, I would say, totally ignored currently. We also produce half of the low carbon in Europe of power, and 26% of the current share of electricity generation.
The contribution, particularly in countries like France and Germany, is very high to the economy and to the workforce. And yet we see in those countries that there is this reluctance to open any further plants, and in some countries like Germany actually decommissioning nuclear plants. The economic arguments cannot persuade the French and German population. How will it convince the EU as a whole?
I think the question is we need to make the public understand the benefits of nuclear, and obviously this is something today the industry is trying to tackle, and this is a reason of this study we've issued today, showing the benefits in terms of economics, jobs impacts, because something to bear in mind also, we in the industry, we usually have a much higher level of skills because of the high level of expertise that this industry needs. And this is in particular important aspect of it. Obviously, we also need to convince the people and shift the mindset of the public to make them understand that all in all, this is industry with some risk, but those risks can be put under control, can be addressed. And the benefits are significant. And certainly, we see in some countries public opinion starting to evolve on nuclear. This is not the case today yet in France or Germany, but we expect this to happen at some point of time.
All industries are challenged with decarbonisation, particularly heavy industries such as steel and other high energy users such as chemicals, also vital to Europe's economy. Will renewables alone fill that gap? And can industry as a whole in the EU compete if it doesn't have cheap energy, essentially?
This is one big question. Obviously, some people think that it's possible to have a 100% renewable system in the EU. We are convinced that it's not. In theory, it is, but it would cost such a huge amount of money that for us, nuclear would be needed. And this has been recognized by the European Commission in its last communication, where they foresee for 2050 a share of roughly 15% of nuclear in the mix. Obviously, nuclear can provide good solutions, not only for power, for the industry, but also to help decarbonize other sectors, such as, for instance, heating. We have some projects of district heating using nuclear, but also we can use nuclear to produce huge amount of carbon-free hydrogen for industries and industrial processes.
We're coming up to European elections, a parliament that's been, I suppose, quite hostile in some senses to the nuclear industry will be coming to an end of its office. New one will be coming in, and obviously governments are always changing and within the EU28. What do you think the nuclear energy has to do to get its concerns across to the governments? Have they understood the economic case?
I think the question of economic case we've discussed before, and I think it's not the case, but I think where we are convinced that at some point of time the benefits of nuclear will have to be recognized is when you are serious about climate change. We see that even though the efforts in terms of developing renewables today in Europe are huge, having not keeping not an interest in having keeping of current fleet online would be detrimental to the carbon emission decrease pathway in Europe. So this is true, for instance, in France. You've seen in the recent past declaration of statement made by President Macron, who made it very clear that the driver to phase out nuclear, if Europe wants to phase out some of its reactors, needs to take into account the emission content of the economy. This is key.
To meet demand in the future, what sort of investment is needed in the nuclear sector to reach the objectives that you've outlined?
So if you look at the communication of the European Commission of November, you see that they expect a share of 15% of nuclear in 2050. As for FORATOM, we would even see a higher level of 25%, similar to what we have today. And for this to happen, we'll need to invest in a huge, significant capacity of a new build. We are talking about a level between 60 and 100 gigawatt of new installed capacity in 2050. And for this to happen, we need to have, I would say, a vibrant, competitive industry with a significant supply chain, which would be ready to take up this challenge. And this is what we need now.